Are you ready to take your investment game to the next level? Introducing Digital Investor, your ultimate guide to mastering the digital marketplace. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Digital Investor brings you cutting-edge game theoretical strategies, expert insights, and real-time tips and tactics to analyze, evaluate, invest, and grow your wealth. Don't miss out on the digital revolution. Visit www.nickblacknext.com and start your journey with Digital Investor today.
All right. All right. Let's get down to manageable. All right. Low. Okay. So, little sell-off. We were hoping for big sell-off. We got a little sell-off over the weekend, then it kind of went sideways, came back up a little bit, and then it sold off again yesterday, which is much more dramatic. I mean, not in the whole scheme of things dramatic after the last 3 weeks, but still pretty dramatic. What we hope for is continued selling all the way through today, just completely pounding today, and maybe even pounding tomorrow, so that we could have a nice holiday weekend of people talking up crypto. Oh, you didn't miss it, Grandpa. Now's the time. Hold my dentures. So we'll see. All right. So we'll look at markets. Yeah. And then we'll go from there. And then if you guys have questions, we'll keep it kind of like, remember the old office hours used to just be all Q&A. So, I won't give you guys buy and sell this or buy and sell that advice, but we'll keep it, we'll try to keep it 10,000 foot. Let's see, reform this. Oh, interesting. Okay. So why don't we go over and look at markets, and then we can do kind of Q&A in the context of that. Let's see. As far as we know, Libra still looks like end of the second or the third week of December. That is not very far. So I would keep that in the back of your mind. Also, we have pools coming for Libra. I think they will launch sometime right around, should be near the launch of the actual token. So we'll see. Yeah, so that'll be cool. Those will be revenue sharing pools, and you will be able to park your tokens and claim revenue once a month from the company. So it'll be USDC payments. Yeah, I mean, that's the end of the first week. I don't know if that's the exact date. Remember, they have to line up a bunch of stuff. Like, they can have a date picked, but they have to line up a bunch of stuff with their team and if they elect to use launch pads or kind of how they want to do it. I think they want to launch mostly not on launch pads, so kind of the opposite of what kind of the way Twin did it, in my opinion, wrong. So, but I think Libra, I think that team is going to do it correctly. And they're looking at a couple of DEX listings, a couple of maybe tier one kind of centralized exchange listings, and then a few launch pads. They're going to have a smattering. Yeah. So we'll see more. We'll know more what that's going to look like probably in the coming weeks. But they're going to make sure they have to coordinate everybody. So I don't know what that process looks like from their side, but they're still quite excited. Like every time I say, "Hey, what's going on?" They always have good news. I'll even say it now. I'll say, "Hey, what's going on?" And we'll see if they give us some good news. We'll find the pool. Yep, pool development is underway, so that's good. Oh, the pools, the node factory pools. Okay, hypercycle node factory pools. The plumbing is done. They're just working on the UI, so the experience for you guys. So that's good, right? That looks good. And they had a version of it a few days ago that they thought could be better, like cleaner, a little bit more elegant, a little easier to use. So they're messing with that right now. So, yeah. But the plumbing is done, so that's good. Let's see. Hey, what's the word? How are pre-launch things going? Bam. We'll see if they get back to us. They're usually pretty Johnny on the spot about that. Okay. And hello. Okay. Once this bull run is over, do you see the markets crashing similar to the last bull market? No. No two bull markets are the same. No two bear markets are the same. I mean, I think the only bull and bear part of it is it's net up or net down. And we're still net up. And I think that until this market is, I mean, we might have periods of 2 weeks here, 3 weeks there, a month here, a month there. But for the most part, I think until this is 5, 8, 10 trillion, this market, I don't think we would really be out of this bull market. I also don't see anything that would stand in the way going into next year, going into the Trump inauguration. I mean, you don't know the black swan event that you wouldn't know, but it's not like they're going to surprise us by saying, "Oh, the world's in a recession." Yeah, no shit. Where have you been the last 18 months? I would say. So yes, I mean, obviously. Then they would, you could say, "Oh, well, I don't know what the other arguments would be, really." I mean, anytime people have less cash to invest, that means something. But what happens? What do governments do to respond to recessions? They stimulate. And even though we know that that's mostly bullcrap, at least in the United States, it's bullcrap, and apparently in Beijing, it's also bullcrap. And in Japan, it's also bullcrap. QE, like, come on. But the financial markets don't seem to know that, and they love it. They love the free money because they don't understand math, and so they behave accordingly. And so then the political theater that is quantitative easing, which is not easing and it's not quantitative, there's no actual math behind it, then the market participants tend to be excited, and they tend to throw more money at the market. And that's why the financialized economy is different than the economy. So the stock market is not the economy, and it always performs in a weird way better. So, dummy's going to do what dummy's going to do. And those dummies are now exposed to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and probably eventually other assets through index ETFs and things like that. But your average investor can now go buy Bitcoin exposure and Ethereum exposure. So I don't think it's the same. I think that this is one big onboarding network effect that we're easing into. And I think for the next 6 months to a year, we won't know what that looks like. So I just don't see anything. Now, nothing goes in a straight line. Everybody knows that. But I don't see anything looming that looks nasty or precarious to get in the way of the crypto space. So we'll see. I'm not saying there's going to be a 4-year bull market either, right? Everything's got local tops and ups, but also in the crypto space, the cool thing is if you're in quality projects, a lot of them can perform even outside of the constraints of whatever the psychological bull or bear markets are. I mean, we made money in AI, we made money in data, we made money during the downturns. So you'll make easier money in a bull market. And then that goes back to just be careful that you're not selling too quickly. Don't have recency bias and survivor's bias that, we just got through this bull market of 18 months. The next bull market is in 1 month, or the next bear market is in 1 month. And you end up selling stuff too quick or selling stuff for a break even. I don't think most of you invested in the crypto space to break even. Maybe you did. Maybe just enjoy it for the love of the game. Maybe just love gambling. I have people tell you that. It's a game for me. I just like to do it. Cool. Do it for free online. You don't have to actually spend money. No, it's not the same. I don't get the thrill. Did you get that thrill when you were earning that money? Now that you're lighting it on fire, one click at a time. Anyway. Okay. Let's see. No market. All right. Yes, great. Yes, no market's awesome. Okay. Michael asks, won't the big institutions like BlackRock cause the market to not crash like it used to? Well, having big institutions like BlackRock could certainly help protect the market in the ways that it might have crashed before. Because you have this second market, this kind of not purely pegged, not quite time pegged derivative market of ETFs. And a lot of people there that want to make money. That's a whole other, So yeah, there's a little lag there. And in that lag, you can clean things up. It's kind of a little bit of a volatility arbitrage, which I think they're doing some of that, but it's hard to prove that. And also they may legally be able to do that. They kind of fudge the numbers on some days so that they never show a net outflow. They just show like 7 days that are zero. And really 2 of those days were net outflow, but the other days were net inflow. Therefore all 4 days were zero, right? Oh, no inflows, no outflow. That kind of number smoothing like the BLS. I'm pretty sure the ETFs do a fair amount of smoothing to protect their reputations. So, but there sure was a lot of money that went into those ETFs over the last few weeks, a lot. So, yeah, there's a lot of smoothing that these organizations can do, and I think that volatility smoothing, or yeah. Bam. Let's see. Question, would it be worth to pay more for a license with a higher uptime, or will they go to zero if they aren't filled when compute starts? Well, you'll be able to do tilling as a service. So for $1 or whatever, I don't know what it's, $1 a node per month, or maybe I think there's like a lifetime, I don't know, whatever. I don't know how it works, but like whatever it is, you'll be, if you don't have any hardware and you don't want to push it over towards like a hyper PG or whatever those options are, you'll be able to do tilling as a service. So then the question is, how much more are you paying for a license with tilling? Like what is that time worth to you to get closer to split numero uno? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows yet. I'll tell you this. I don't think that in the beginning, I don't think uptime, well, it'll obviously be valuable, but I don't think you'll notice it right now. Like in the very beginning, you won't notice it. Where you're going to notice it is when you're several splits in and the compute revenue is growing, so that now the nodes are functioning at kind of close to full capacity. And then it makes more sense. I just don't know if right now we have the math. We don't have enough data to support whether, like, what the uptime premium should be. That's the best way I can say it. We don't know what the uptime premium should be. Question: do you think that Solana is looked at the same way as ETH and in the same category? No. I think Solana is looked at as a very fast, very sloppy network where most of the degen activity is. And there's a lot of money because there's more dummies than not, right? Like if you take a room of 100 people, there's more dummies in that room than there are intelligent people in that room. That's just Americana. That's just like us. Now, you could argue, well, the people in crypto are smarter. Well, really? Go look at pump.fun, which is one of the main sources of all the activity on Solana. Go tell me how smart tell me how brainiac that group looks. Not so good. And that group also, they don't care if the network goes down. But like the 8-year-old, the 12-year-old kid flipping the camera off because he pumped one of his tokens or something, like some stupid shit like that on a live stream. By the way, they canceled those live streams. Knew that was coming. So yeah, it's not looked at the same way. Solana is not looked at, but also remember that Solana is pushed by a lot of the second tier VCs. So you had a lot of VCs that missed early crypto. Most of them, they missed crypto early. That second tier of VCs, the second tier of scumbags, the Raoul Powells, those guys, the second tier of talking heads that missed it in the beginning, completely missed it, had no clue. They not only weren't early adopters, most of them were naysaying or shit talking crypto their entire careers and then they're like, oh, I came early. I was here in 2019. Oh, wow. We're that early? Holy smokes. 2019. Wow. So these guys, they were late to the party, a lot of the VCs, and Ethereum had already run. Bitcoin had already run. It wasn't obvious that there was easy money to be made in those. So what do? You take a really fast shit show dumpster fire network run by morons, deceitful morons that have already been caught. They're already corrupted. They already got caught lying about their market cap, lying about token burns, lying about, like, these guys will work with you. So you go in and make sweetheart deals, and you pump Solana to everyone that will listen. You call all your buddies, you get it on all. And remember, the crypto space, even 2019, 2020, 2020, very small, still incredibly small. It's still small. It's still only 3.2 trillion. It's tiny. Elon with the Department of the Doge, the government efficiency, he's just trying to cut 2 trillion out of the budget. The whole crypto space is only 3 trillion, and they're trying to cut 2 trillion a year off the US budget. So the crypto space is still very small. So go back 2 or 3 or 4 years, it was very, very small. Go back 5 years, very, very, very small. So it was easy to get in bed with some scumbag project. And Solana is a scumbag project with scumbags on every end of it and dummies at the other end of it, outside the spigot. Like, everything about Solana is perfect. It's perfect idiots managing perfect idiots, run and thrust forward by perfect crooks. So they get what they get. But the degen market is huge, just like the gambling market, and they're serving the gambling community. They're just younger gamblers, and the barrier to entry is you don't have to go to Vegas and you don't have to be 18. So it's just, there's a lot of people that want to gamble. There we are. But it's not looked at the same way. It's not, I don't even think, even among people that are deeply invested in Solana, I don't think if you woke them up at 3 a.m., they would tell you that you're dealing with a quality project, like just all around. It's just not a quality project. But no one cares. Look at Tether. $4 or $5 billion a day, new money. Where did the new money come from? Just new money, man. Shut up. Don't ask questions. Don't look under the couch. Okay, don't look under the carpet. That lump right there, that's not grandma. Where's grandma? She's not here. Where is she? I don't know. That's not grandma. Got it. Yeah, it's Fat Kid Camp. That's right. So yeah. Okay, let's see. Don't they have a day or two? Yeah, I think that they use those. I think, Charlene, the ETFs use that time to smooth. I think they do a lot of smoothing, which I think is bullshit. Everything should be real time, but that's just me. Yeah. Okay. Let's go look at these markets. Look at these markets. Okay. Let's see what we got. Total. Well, let me click on that. Okay. Let's see. We're at total 3,225. So 3,220,000,000,000, 572 million. Just when you say it, it changes. Okay. Anyway, the corn on the 24-hour, still on the weekly. Only a few things getting punished on the weekly. Most everything else is fine on the weekly. But just over the last day, did have a pretty decent retrace in Ethereum, which had been catching a bid. That's frustrating because I think Ethereum has been slow to the move. Let's see. Question: does Hypercycle have a place that covers the hardware side? Well, Hypercycle is like Cisco Systems in that it sits in between all of these entities. So Hypercycle itself, they may have joint ventures that are looking at that, but Hypercycle itself is not getting into the hardware business. Hypercycle is the I don't want to say exchange like an exchange that you go to buy stuff, but an interchange. Hypercycle is the interchange where people that are looking to get more bang for their AIM buck can come. So they wouldn't run pools, right? Hyper PG, a joint venture, yes, they would run a bunch of hardware, and they might structure that in a variety of different ways where you could point to their hardware or you know things like that. And there may be other versions of that. So you have people that supply AI machine hardware. You have people that have AI requests, like companies that have requests of AI. You have people that have algorithms, perhaps, that they want to monetize, that are doing some really cool stuff. They want to get more. They want to get their algorithms out there, and they may want to monetize those to an extent. So that would kind of be where Hypercycle would sit as an interchange for all of those entities, including investors and people like ourselves that want to create node factories and participate, basically be the mesh version of Amazon Web Services for AI. Yeah. Can Hypercycle replace all the layer ones? Well, no, because some of those layer ones have. Oh, well, you mean there's a couple questions in there. You mean because using Toda IP, you actually have a layer 0 that doesn't depend on a blockchain. Maybe. There are times when you need the slow, gummy security of Bitcoin. And there are times when you need the fast, sloppy of like SUI. The idea is that transactions should not be routed across, in the future, it's unlikely that transactions will be routed across a network because the outcome is what's probably important to you. And so different outcomes would require different security standards, different consensus standards, and things like that. the future would likely be multi-network behind the scenes. All you see is transferring this thing from here to there. And then in that, it would be, well, what's the transfer for? Are you buying a hotel, or are you buying a weekend at a hotel? Those are two different kinds of transactions. If you're buying a hotel, it'll be $65 million worth of XYZ. You might want a slow, extremely secure, blockchain-based, cement, concrete transaction. If you're buying information or data every 50 milliseconds, then you might want fast AF with a relatively high amount of surety and throughput. And well, you want fast throughput, you want fast transaction termination, but you might be okay with a little bit less on the security standards, because let's say someone compromises, a few milliseconds of data out of your second. It might not be the end of the world, right? So different tolerances for different things may require a handful of options. Do there need to be 10 layer ones, 100 layer twos, layer threes, which God only knows what that even means? No. And so there should be either a bunch of companies coming together, or just at some point a massive day of reckoning. Not day, right? But like where a purge, where just a lot of the crap projects that are just not needed. Like, I love Cosmos, but unless they merge with another company, what's the point of Cosmos? XRP, there's no real use for it. I know that fast, illiquid corridors. There's no use. There is no use. I mean, above and beyond any other project, there's no use for XRP. There is nothing unique there. There's no tech there. And that's not just an XRP thing. I'm not hating. Go down the list. I mean, if we're being honest, exclude Bitcoin for a second. With Ethereum and layer twos, do you need SUI? No. Aptos? No. Cardano? You could make some governance arguments that maybe they've solved something on the governance side, and we'll only let them show us what midnight is here in the future. We don't know yet, and so far that's been a pretty big nothing burger filled with a bunch of Charles bullcrappery. So we'll see if there's anything there, but other than some governance things, Cardano, probably not. Do you need VeChain? No, except that it might be the only layer one that kind of the Chinese government is willing to give their stamp of approval on, although I think that would ease too. Do we need Cosmos? Cosmos is great, but do we need it? No. Do we need Algorand? No. So you start going down. I mean, do you need SEI network? What? That's just a spammy, shitty knockoff of SUI. They didn't even spell it any different. I don't think they had any intention of spelling it different. I think it's a straight fucking knockoff. I mean, it's different, right? But this is just a straight marketing knockoff. Maybe SAI is the next one. Maybe someone here should launch that. Probably do really good. So, I don't know, man. The fact that SCI has a $1.4 billion market cap should make most people vomit. Come on. But when you go down and look at all these layer ones, you say, well, which ones are necessary? Not many. So could a handful of a couple layer ones and a handful of layer twos probably accommodate every transaction on the planet? Yes. So you would imagine that there's going to be some mergering and conglomerating and glomming together of projecting that occurs, or at least it should occur. Let's see. Which layer one pairs can possibly merge? Well, they all could. That's the thing. I mean, you could merge all the A's Well, okay, you could merge probably. These are both on the Move blockchain. Listen, when you see these projects all spawning, it's just people trying to grab cash. These are all cash grabs. You know that, right? The people at Aptos and Sui, they could have all worked together. These guys all just wanted to start their own thing so they could launch their own tokens, so they could fill their own pockets. That's it. That's all this is. And if you have a couple of big names behind you and a fat ass Rolodex, you can get away with it. So yeah. ADA could go away. ADA could melt into, so Sui and Aptos could go together on the Move blockchain. ADA, Polkadot, Algorand, and probably Cosmos could all, glom together, probably do some duct tape here and there on the plumbing, and whoever has something to add adds it, and everybody else just keeps on going. There's too many layer ones. They're not all going to be used. They're already not all being used. No, people aren't using XRP. People aren't using ADA, and XRP is not really a layer one. It's just it's a very weak, flimsy 2016 technology. XRP and Lumens probably should melt together, although they hate each other. I think some talk was that Cardano would work with Ripple. Like, can you find two weirder groups of people to cohabitate? Like, that's just so weird. Anyway, I mean, Algorand, what use is Algorand? No one's using Algorand for anything. No one's really using Cosmos for anything. No one's really using any of these other than Ethereum and layer twos for just about anything. That should kind of like alert you. So all these other layer ones, other than the slop and the slime that's going on over at Solana, which good on them, they're making money. They're making great money from slop and slime and creeps. And it's just, nothing should surprise you. Oh, Pump.fun is a bunch of people doing live broadcasts of like really sketchy, shady shit. Of course, that's signature Solana. That's just, and that's not even like, well, that's not just Solana. It is. Solana has always kind of promoted itself and advertised to the lowest common denominator. Those least willing to do any research, those least willing to do math, those least inclined to have any kind of financial common sense. They play to the lowest common denominator, but there's a lot of that. And so that's a good market. So good on them for finding their market, because it wasn't going to be high finance. It wasn't going to be banks and financial institutions leveraging Solana. So that's silly. I am curious if one of these ecosystems will end up being the underbelly of like FX transactions and FX swaps, because a lot of back-end repo happens in the FX market. So anyway, that's a different discussion for a different day. That's a me and Kirill discussion. Okay, let's see. Catherine said, I listened to a broadcast of Crypto Ben. Who's Crypto Ben? I don't know who Crypto Ben is. Oh, wait. You don't mean not the douchebag Ben, right? Oh, hopefully not like the chubby guy that's like in and out of jail for like stealing his car that he wasn't his and it was his. Not that guy, right? I'm sure it's a different Crypto Ben. Anyway, not BitBoy, right? BitBoy, crypto, whatever. Interesting what he said to say going back to inception of BC. The why, how, who, time bomb program to explode in nuke. I don't know. I'm not sure what's all going on there. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot there, Catherine, and I don't know what that. I don't listen to very many I don't listen to any crypto broadcasters. I only listen to macro. So I listen to I like Jeff Snyder. Anytime Green, he's good. I like Emil, but he doesn't broadcast anymore, or at least hasn't in a while. oddly, I don't like Steve Van Meter's kind of a creep. And those guys. So here's the thing: Jeff Snyder and Steve kind of partnered up. Steve is kind of a creep. He's not an idiot. He's I don't know how to explain Steve Van Meter. I do listen to I do listen to his opinion, although I don't ever leverage it because I don't think that those guys, Jeff included, Jeff is awesome. Jeff can tell you what's going on. Those guys can't invest. I mean, they can't invest because that's not how their minds work. So, like, I wouldn't have guys like that managing my money, but you definitely want to pay attention to those perspectives, those macro perspectives. And there's nobody better at reading yield curves than Jeff Snyder, period, full stop. Then there's guys over at Macro Voices, and you can learn a lot about the oil market over there. And the oil market is, you look at oil and you look at copper, and you can kind of see what the rest of the world's doing. And then you start layering on a little bit of information here and there. You start getting a pretty good worldview. Yeah, so I don't know. I think there's a lot of so the point of that is I listen to a lot of macro type financial information just to I want to kind of always be floating around about 10,000 foot. But I don't particularly listen to anybody else in the crypto space because it's just too far removed from macro. And most other people are just spamming you with bullshit, and because they're selling something. You should see how many partnership offers Brandon and I get to pimp either crap tokens, to talk up. This one lady hit me up about, they have like an exercise bike that you do while you're at work that has a computer screen on it or something. I was like, well, that's all exercise bikes. She's like, we'll send you one, and then you can just do a show while you're on the exercise bike. I'm like, if you're going to send me an exercise bike for free and I can do a show and it doesn't drop, like the bike has the technology to do a show while I bike, I will do a show while I bike, and I'll even show people the bike. But I'm not going to tell them to buy it because that's just not what I do. I made my money on my own, and no one told me what to. Matter of fact, everybody told me I was wrong. I can't tell you how many people I can buy and sell now that told me how foolish I was being. Oh, that's magic internet money. Oh, you don't get it. I bet you don't get it. But anyway, doesn't matter. So as long as you're not measuring yourself against other people, you're just measuring yourself against yourself. You have that background of macro knowledge, that's going to help you make your own decisions. One of the things that's very good about having a good macro sense, a good macro sensibility, and again, that comes from all these different opinions. You can't get it in an echo chamber. And hopefully, Brandon and I are not your only source of information. We definitely should not be, because you need different opinions, even if those opinions are ridiculous. You still need to hear them because other people are hearing them. And what would dummies do? And see how dummies are going to participate. But if you look at a lot of the other crypto broadcasty shit that's out there, they're just selling. They're selling. They're always selling something to you. So be careful. And if you build a good, build a good macro framework, and you have a game theory fundamental decision-making process, and you're aware of your cognitive biases, you're just going to make better decisions in life, period, around other people. And because you make so many decisions, you're going to rise above them over and over and over. I've had, I don't know how many people, there's only one guy that was my boss when I used to work at a corporate job who is still crushing it. Of course, he left that job. He went out on his own, and he created a giant, albeit borderline scammy, borderline indictment-y roofing company. Do you guys understand roofing? You guys know how roofing works? How the roofing industry works in Texas? It's pretty scammy. Those guys are always like, they're always on the edge of a government probe. You get the guys that go up on the roof with the ball peen hammer. Oh, this roof needs to be repaired. And of course, insurance covers that. And you have so many storms in Texas that's like one of the biggest like insurance fraud hustles. Anyway, I'm not saying he's that. I'm just saying he's built a massive roofing company. Everybody else I've ever worked for, I've passed them by macro framework, like understanding the macro in a broad sense, understanding how the gears work, understanding the basic pieces, game theory decision making, paying attention to cognitive bias, and just being honest with yourself that you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Just try to learn from each one. You're not going to steer through every stupid thing. You're going to take some shots. I was listening to Charlie Munger talk. He and Warren Buffett, there was this discussion, you could probably go find it, where they're talking about how many times they've had what they call like a Sigma event or a Six Sigma event where their whole value got cut in half, like half. So imagine your portfolio right now. You wake up tomorrow and it's half. You just lost half. And they worked their way back up through value investing, understanding cognitive bias, game theory, good macro framework, being value investors, infrastructure investors. And so one of the things I used to always study is billionaires. Like my buddy was like obsessive about it. I have a buddy who's a software engineer, and he is obsessive about it. He's also obsessive about whiskey, which that's a problem. But he's obsessive about studying billionaires. I wasn't like that. But I would just like, if I saw a fund manager or somebody like that, I was like, oh, that guy's pretty smart. He seems really smart. I want to read what he's got to say, or I want to go listen to his videos. Then I would go check him out. And so I created this little list of and so I would just try to learn from those guys. You can absorb some of their, from their stories and from their ups and downs. You can absorb a lot. So if you want to be a billionaire, start acting like a billionaire. Go study billionaires. Go see what they have that you don't, and then fill in the pieces. It doesn't mean you have to be a billionaire, although the way inflation works and the way that debasement works, we might all end up being billionaires. But everybody here has pretty easy tools to kind of get past these big setbacks, these Sigma events, these big. And so when you hear, Charlie and Warren Buffett talk about, I think it's six or seven times Berkshire Hathaway's total value got chopped in half. And they were like, okay, well, let's pick up the pieces. The other thing you want to look at is look at billionaires that have done it twice in different industries, right? Look at I think Larry Dell. I think he's one of those billionaires that's hit it in different industries. So you might say, oh, someone became a billionaire because they had some cool idea, like a Mark Zuckerberg or something like that. Not that he's not a genius. He is a genius, but that was a very specific kind of genius. He hasn't repeated that genius in other areas. Whereas you would say with Elon Musk, yes, he's bankrupted a lot of companies, but he has repeated his genius in different directions. Tesla is certainly not PayPal, is certainly not SpaceX, is certainly not ... right? So when you see these kind of these business individuals that go and they become wildly successful in different industries, you want to go and look at how they make decisions, because they're not just capitalizing on some obscure situation and getting paid. They're seeing opportunity all over the place, which is, if we're thinking in that same way and we're limited to AI and crypto and say data, but if our imagining of what the future looks like is more AI intense, more data intense, more robot intense, more AI intense, then seems like we're in the right spot. So yeah, that was a long kind of answer to that. There you go. Mm. Yeah, Cointelegraph is pretty good. Remember, a lot of Cointelegraph is influenced articles. So just be careful. There's a lot of influenced articles. But you know that when you read it, you can be 4 paragraphs in, and you see that. Okay, let's see. Howard asks, when compute starts for hypercycle, how is our particular node factory will get chosen? So the way it works is, let's say we're all in different parts of the country or the world or whatever. We're all over the place. Then likely our compute power is sparse. It's spread out, right? So the way it would work is it would be based on your relevance and your score and your uptime and all that, right? But if a query is put out, it's going to go to whoever's closest, okay? And it's also going to be whoever's closest and whoever's the best place to go to get back a good answer. So that might be a whole server center over at HyperPG, or some meshed out 2 boxes here, 2 boxes there network. It depends on where your business is and where the questions are coming from. But also in the future, imagine that AI queries are going to be coming from everywhere. So the net effect will it'll smooth that out too, where all of the nodes are likely to be getting asked questions very, very, very often, just because there's so much AI compute demand. So at first it'll be kind of a slow kind of up, like a slow ramp up, right? And then all of a sudden you'll have hit something near kind of a network median capacity or whatever, where everybody's units are getting questions all the time, a lot. Yeah. Let's see. Approximately when will DI and DPC know hardware options? When we have them all. We don't have all the hardware options yet, so we don't know them. But you'll be getting paid for your node factory revenue. You'll be earning revenue on node factories up until the point where you have to really make a decision. So when compute first starts, like Howard, to your question, when compute first starts, once the options are there of where to point your stuff, if you don't want to use your own hardware, well, we'll have all those, because compute can't start without those options, can it? So those options will make themselves available. They'll be available to you guys. I would assume that HyperPG will be among the first, but they're having meetings all the time with big server farms and facilities. I know that there's a Dubai facility that's got tons and tons of hardware they just bought, and they may want to monetize that. I mean, I don't think it's far-fetched, if it's not all bullcrap, and if SingularityNet actually did buy a bunch of hardware, which again, they might have just lined their pockets. But if they didn't, and they actually bought a lot of hardware, maybe they did, and maybe it's not just resold from Fetch, which maybe they also did. But either way, they have a bunch of hardware. They might want to monetize it, and they might run a bunch of kind of hardware resources, making that available for people to pledge their node licenses and things like that. So, I mean, who knows? Anybody with a bunch of extra compute resources would want to offer them up to anywhere else where they can monetize them. So, I would think there'd be a lot of opportunity, especially as the ecosystem gets bigger. There's going to be a lot of more eyeballs looking over and going, wait, how are they making money over there? What? Oh, you mean we can just offer up our hardware? Sweet. So there you go. Okay. Will the bundle size determine which project? No. Every node is its own node. The bundle size just means you have more of them. But the node itself is its own little data center. Think of it like that. You have an AI data center, a little baby Amazon, a baby AWS, purpose built for AI compute to be a little interchange for compute. Ting, 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 ting. Cool? So that's the way you should look at it. More just means more compute revenue. So there. Okay, is the node factory size going to matter? No, size doesn't matter. Reputation matters, right? Size doesn't matter. Come on, guys. You guys have been saying that your whole life. Size doesn't matter. Reputation matters. Like, you see that guy over there at the bar? Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Papa asks, what is your opinion on Tom Gentile advice about crypto? Okay. I have to caveat this. One, I know Tom quite well. I like Tom. I mean, we don't hang out and talk, but we have hung out and talked. I spent a good deal of time with him in Florida. Tom is super cool. He is a super cool guy. He is nice. He does not, by his own admission, know shit about crypto. He is more on the trading side. So he's going to be someone that's going to look at little near-term trends and things like that. He's going to be a TA guy. So I would say Tom's advice about crypto trading would be better than his advice about crypto investing, because he's not really an investor. He's an in and out kind of a guy. So that's kind of what I would say is, Tom is, he's got good intentions. He's not out to screw anyone. I'll say that. He's trying to make money with his thing, which is cool. He's not an investor. He's a trader. I don't know beyond that how in the weeds or how successful their trading stuff is, but it couldn't hurt to just explore. I'm not saying I would act on it. I would not act on anybody's anything, but I would probably I wouldn't be against exposing myself to some of his TA stuff. Yeah, he's a squiggly line trader. So just as long as you understand that TA is less accurate than flipping a coin, right? It's 30% hit rate, meaning if you just flipped a coin, you have a higher likelihood of being right than using technical analysis. And it falls under the category of necessary but not sufficient. It's necessary to kind of understand technical analysis. It's not sufficient to trade or decide on. It just isn't. No more than looking at the price, flipping a quarter, and going in on the trade. So if you keep it in context, I think more information is never bad. That's what I would say. I don't know who Paul Barron is. Got no idea. I don't really follow. I just knew Tom because we worked together at Monday Morning Live. That's all. That's the only reason I know Tom. And Garrett. Garrett's really smart. Garrett just never saw. He didn't see AI coming. That's what clipped him. I think that's but Garrett got big into crypto. He made so much off crypto, by the way, that he took a year off and just traveled. Pretty cool, huh? So Garrett for the win. Let's see. So a 2-node factory is no different than an 8 or 16. Well, it's different in that the 8 is 4 times and the 16 is 8 times more profitable. But you don't get, it's not like if you have a full 512 nodes that you're going to get more preferential treatment. You just have more nodes. So there's going to be an abundance of AI compute, query, and request and demand, enough that would be more than sufficient for the entire compute ecosystem of Hypercycle. So it's not like you're going to be getting passed up because the dude next to you, 3 blocks away, has 16 node licenses, node factories, and you only have 8. In the eyes of the network, it's locality. It's like how close, because if it's a time consideration, and reputation. Let's see. Am I correct to assume that Brandon will make choosing hardware easy for us? Yes, because we try to make everything easy for you. Yes. Yeah, I know he has his whole AI, like, oh, we have an AI event. By the way, I've lifted the skirt of that thing. There's no AI there. We made, my buddy and I, the same software guy I was telling you about, he made a thing that would just scour price action and spit out like, oh, this coin, this coin, this coin, this coin. Oh, you got to active. It's just looking at market cap changes and things like that. There's no AI going. Well, I guess there's narrow AI in the sense that spell check is also kind of an AI thing, right? It's artificial intelligence, the artifice as the tool. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, Tom's cool, man. Tom's cool. We did a thing together. I helped him do one of his I never got paid for it, but I helped him do one of his shows, one of his deals. What do they call those? Video sales, BSL, video sales letters or whatever. Man, they hated working with me because they would put stupid shit up on the screen. And I was like, I don't say that. They're like, yeah, but well, for this, but I don't say that. And if I don't say that, I'm not going to say that. They're like, how would you say it? I'm like, I would just say this. Oh, okay. Well, let's try it. Okay. They were like, oh, we don't like working with him. I'm like, cool. Well, I don't really like doing these. And then towards the end, I don't know if you guys realized, I don't know if I ever told you that one of the things that sealed it is that one of the writers, I wasn't a fan of one of the writers that was writing what I was supposed to be saying. I was like, why do I need a writer to write what I would say? I'll just say what I would say. No, you need a writer because you got to, it's the whole process. I'm like, oh, really? What's your process? Why don't you break down your process? I went over to GPT, and in about 2 minutes, I wrote a whole video sales letter. I'm like, what about this? They're like, whoa, that's really good. How long have you been working on that? I'm like, I've been working on it while we've been having this text chain. Like since the last 3 minutes, since you texted me about this shitty writer, I had it done on GPT. This is GPT 3.5. Like, whoa. I'm like, yeah. So we don't need the writer, do we? He's just a cog, man. Anyway, there you go. Let's see your thoughts on Brian Jung, Bryce Paul, and Max Wright. I don't know, other than that's a handful of almost unpronounceable names if you say them all together. Brian Jung, Bryce Paul, Max Wright. You got to really have your A game on for that. No, I don't know them. And listen, just because I don't know these guys doesn't mean they're not good. Who do I know of that I've listened to? Anthony Pompliano, he's a fucking idiot. Novogratz. Well, Novogratz is strange. Novogratz is a very credible, well-spoken guy that makes huge blunders. I mean, fucking cataclysmic blunders. This is the guy that got lunatic tattooed on his arm. Like, buddy, how do you become a billionaire and not know a fucking scam when it is laughing in your face? And that's not the only one. He got waxed with FTX. He got waxed with 3 Arrows. He got waxed with Luna. At a certain point, you have to say, dude, you're just a really nice guy that is terrible at money. I mean, you are just awful. And he runs Galaxy Digital. And guess what? Galaxy is a loser. They lose money quarter on quarter on quarter. And you look at the quarter, you're like, Bitcoin's up 169%. How the fuck are you guys losing? Well, are you choking? Pull that banana out of your throat, dummy. So it's like some of these guys, like, I don't know how they lose money. Like in an up market, how do you lose? Oh, well, we were leveraged and long. Shut up. So anyway, that's the problem is the people that are the crypto people, there usually is some motivation behind them. Novogratz is trying to pump his fund, which, okay, if you didn't lose money, but I don't know how you get money into your fund when you lose money, when you hemorrhage. Same thing with Scaramucci. I like Anthony Scaramucci a lot. We're friends, like legit friends. And because he's so far removed from the decision making, his fund is stupid. Those guys make really bad decisions. And Anthony's a pretty sharp guy. But I realized when talking to them about some other projects that Anthony's not actually the primary decision maker. He's got guys under him that make the decisions. He's got subject matter experts, and their subject matter expert in crypto is a fucking moron who does not get it. I'm not going to say it's because he's old, but he's old. He can't spell Web3. These guys make such incredibly bad decisions, cost them billions, and they're still not out of the woods yet. They froze redemptions because too many people are trying to exit their fund. So, God, man, so that could be the problem too, is sometimes you can take smart people, but they put people underneath them that just blunder, and then no one's ever firing anybody, and then they blunder, and then the fund blows up. So that's the problem. Is I listen to all these guys, they're pretty stupid, or they don't know any macro. Like you ask these crypto guys, and they're like, oh, bond market. Wait, what? Bonds are not important. Oh man, it's all important, buddy. It's all important. That's the thing, is that there's not a lot of people, I guess, that are willing to do the macro homework. It's either all crypto or all macro. You're either Jim Cramer or you're some in the weeds douche in the crypto space. There are very few people that want to back out. And I would urge all of you, I think that's probably the good theme for the day for all of you, is do the work. You don't have to be a genius or an expert in the macro, but you need to understand it. You can't just throw it aside. It is important. The landscape, the backdrop, it's all important. It's all important, and it will help you make really good or really good enough decisions. Matter of fact, there's 142 of you here. I want you to say, I'm going to make really good enough decisions. Let's see it in the chat. I'm going to make really good enough decisions. So you don't have to have really good decisions. They just have to be good enough. Yeah, those were the fun days, man. Oh, you want to know another thing? I'll tell you a little. That's perfect. I'm gonna make really good enough decisions. Oh, you left out the really. You're just gonna make good enough decisions? No. Greenfield, make really, really good enough decisions. Oh, you guys are scraping the words. Good decisions. No, really. Howard nails it, of course. Really good enough decisions. Words matter, people. Decimals matter, people. God, I almost made a decimal error like a mofo. I told you about that the other day. Whoop. I mean, I didn't do it, but I was like, click. And I stared at it, and something looked weird. And then Coinbase said, are you sure you want to sell 21% below the market? And I was like, whoa, oh, decimal. Go slow, and make really good enough decisions. Let's see. I know, listen to all of them. Brian doesn't have thousands of followers. That's good. No. Good for them. Hopefully they're spreading good stuff, making people smarter. I ain't a hater. I'm gonna make really good enough decisions. Really good enough. Really good. Ooh, I got the quotes with Lotus. Nice work. Gonna make good. Ella Paul. Don't be clipping words. No, it doesn't. This is, you don't know. I could be homeless, and that's just some plants out in the back of my homelessness. I'm going to be really, really good enough decisions. No, Bill, not good enough. Really, really. That's right. R squared. Good decisions. Okay, good. I think we got it. You guys nailed it. All right. And go slow. In in the immortal words of Howard, go slow. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope this is the sell-off we needed. I kind of wish we had gotten, I know this sounds cryptic, but I wish we had cracked 89,000 on Bitcoin, just to purge all of the, purge a lot of the leverage. We didn't quite do that. We'll probably see in articles throughout the day how much leverage got whacked. A fair amount of it got whacked, which sets up a maybe good holiday. I think it could be an up weekend starting Thursday. We'll see. Yeah. Anyway, we'll have more to talk about tomorrow, including some decisions that Brandon and I have been thinking about in regards to Jupiter. Ooh, that's pretty good. Pretty good. But isn't that crazy that that's a good buy these days? Oh, I got Bitcoin 91,000. They're like, oh, you're so early. Yeah. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything my poor and solvent drunk, swinging a meth grandmother, or Brandon wouldn't do. We can't possibly know what the weather would be like, but I'm sure it's cold and crappy. It's nice here. It's going to be. It's going to get up in the mid 60s today. That's not terrible. That's not terrible. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Terrified, wandering mind, the seams have come undone. You've been telling lies to these eyes as if they'd never seen the sun. Now you've let your guard down and your heart is exposed. Now you've let your guard down, but how could you have known that I'm the big fish round here? You're a small fish. I could make you disappear. You should know this. I'm the big fish round here. You're a small fish.